Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. In this video, we will learn about more functions or formulas in Excel. In my previous video, we have gone through the basic formulas and functions of Excel. This is the second video, you can say it part 2 as well, in which we will learn more about functions. So I have prepared a chart. Let's see, these are all the journeymans and foremans, and these are the states from where they belong, and as per their performance evaluation, they have scored these respectively. So for the function 1, we will start with count A. To add the formula manually, we will place is equals to and then write count. You can see a drop down where the second option is count A. As I told you before, count A counts all the number of cells and all the numbers. So count A, double click, and then you will select this complete range. Make sure whenever you select any range, any kind of range consisting of any number of rows, heading must not be included. Heading must be excluded when you are selecting the range. So keep this thing in mind. Now press enter. So you can see the total number of numbers for all of these service persons are 17. Okay, the total performance numbers for all the 17 workers, they have counted it as total in here with the help of a count A formula. Also you can verify it, like if you can see here, if in the top left section of the Excel sheet, when you select the range, the number of rows changes as the column remains same. When you will select the complete range, you can see the total number of rows is also 17. So this is how you can verify. Now coming towards another function or formula, you can say, we'll select count blank is equals to write count. You can see in the drop down list count blank, double click and select complete range, press enter. You will see 0. Count blank counts those cells which are blank, means there is no number written. As you can see, all cells has some kind of number. You must be wondering that 0 is a 0 value, but it is some kind of a number. So it is counting as in a number category, and the blank is calculated as 0. What if I remove this zeros from the complete list? You can see the total blank values, because it calculates the blank cells, which are 3 in numbers, and count 14, in which the numbers are present. So the numbers are present in 14 cells while the 3 cells are blank. Total makes 17, and these are 17 total scores of journeyman. Moving forward towards another function, count. Now let's select this cell is equals to type count. You can see count in here, double click and select the range, press enter. You will see 14. Now what if some of them doesn't have any score, or some of them are on waiting list and needs to be evaluated? Like suppose this serviceman is on waiting list and its score is being evaluated. So for the time being, we have added X and X in here. Now what you see, the total count A means the cell which has some data, some input in it. It is total 16. One is blank, there is no data, no input, hence count is not counting it. Count blank, one cell is blank while the rest are filled. So count blank is calculating only one cell. After count functions, we will jump into VLOOK formula. VLOOK function is something that calls upon their score depending on the name we have added or any state we have added. It totally depends. now is equals to type VLOOKUP. Here you can see VLOOKUP, double click on it. It displays what values you need to add in the bracket, so it completes the formula. Lookup value. Lookup value means by what name or what state or any data you want to call that amount or score or anything else. Click, comma, table array, selecting the table array that has the first column of the data you have entered in F10, this thing. So you need to keep this thing in mind, that you do not select data like this or like this. The previous I have told you was about range, but this is array. You need to select the complete array that has first data you are entering in here. So comma, now column index, which column you want it to call out, like you want to display performance score, so press 3, comma, now it asks you about true and false, like exact match or approximate match. You want exact match, so this is, you have selected, parenthesis close, enter. You can see the score is displayed right here, the exact score which you have written in here. So if you drop down it will copy all the things, the formula, performing the same action while changing the formula. This thing I have explained in my previous video. You can check it. The link is given in the description box. That will help you how it works. This is simple. You will get to know it very easily. Let's say if you want to change the name of the person. So we would write Joe Black. Enter. You can see that Joe Black was nil, blank. So it displays in here 0. This is how it works. You can also verify the scores of Alan Jones. Alan Jones was 3.6 and Sally Wingate was 5.0. So this is how VLOOKUP formula works, and it is a really important function one should have command. Now using concatenate. Concatenate simply joins two data or two input values in a single line like a statement. For example, if we select this cell and write the formula, type concatenate, this appears, double click on it. Here we need to select two text, like, or we can also select the multiple text as well, like selecting this one, comma, and selecting another data. We just want in this case that the person and its score is displayed all together. Parenthesis close and enter. You can see that Joe Black and his score is displayed together, but there is one problem. There is no space between the score and the name of the person. So what we will do is double click on it, look clearly. After comma, we have added inverted commas, space and inverted commas and a single comma. Now press enter. What you have seen is there is a space between Joe Black, the name, and that person particular score. If you will copy it down, simply it copies the formulas here. It has selected these cells and these cells with the simple drop down. For example, if you change the name to Tony Duke, enter, you will see the performance score is changed, as well as the concatenate formula has also been changed. You can simply add the formulas individually, but isn't it the easiest way to just drop it down and copy the formula, changing it respectively but performing the same action? Now let's look over COUNTIF formula. We have written some states. The states we have added in this list. So we have placed all the name of the states we have used in here, And now writing COUNTIF formula. Here you can see COUNTIF, double click, and range. The range we are talking about is this range, the states, and comma, the criteria. What criteria you want to follow in that range? Like you want to find about Ohio, as we have written here Ohio, and parenthesis close, enter. Similarly, we will select this small box and drag it down to the last state. Similarly, it will copy the formula, changing it according to the number of cells and performing the same action. Here we can see Ohio has 5. It means there are 5 Ohio in this list, which represents that 5 service persons are from Ohio, 3 from Florida, 5 from Texas, and 4 from Michigan. We can also use sum if formula. Sum if formula. Like let's say is equals to sum if, double click on it. It is as same as the COUNTIF formula. Selecting the range, this, and comma, criteria, the Ohio, comma, the sum range. Obviously the sum would be of any number, so we can find out that how much total score a particular state service persons has made. So we will select this, as the sum will be of numbers only. Parenthesis close, enter. So you can see that the total sum, the total scores Ohio has made is 18.3. We can also select the Ohio state cell. Let's do this manually to verify that whether this formula works correct or not. We have selected, pressing Ctrl key and clicking on each Ohio performance score. Here you can see in the sum section the total is 18.3. Okay, now so you will drop it down and the formula will work for the rest of the state in the same way. Similarly, you can add average if. It will add the performance score from Ohio and divide it by the number of entities, as the average formula works. So we will put is equals to average, and you can see average if here, double click on it, selecting the range, okay, comma, criteria, we want to find out for Ohio state, comma, and average range. Again, average range will be the numbers, so we will select this score, parenthesis close, enter. So 3.36 is the average of the sum of 18.3, which was the previous sum if value. For drop-down list, you have usually seen that there is a drop-down arrow. If one clicks on it and a list of menu appears. How you will do this? Simply click on the cell you want the drop-down there and go to the data and click on data validation. Somewhere in Excel, the data validation is written completely in words, whereas at some places this sign appears, which means data validation. Click on this and click data validation. In this setting tab, you will select that you want to create the list. Keep adding the sources. Now let's say you want to put on the states, so you will write Ohio, comma, Florida, comma, Texas, comma, Michigan, and click OK. What you will see an arrow of drop down and the sources we have added, so we can select easily Ohio. Simply if we drop down, the same drop down list appears in here and you can select any other state. For conditional formatting, you can select any text or any ranges and converting them into color codes that helps you to understand its status, whether it's or any color ranges if you want to put. So let's select this chart, complete chart, and go to Home tab. Click on Conditional Formatting, select Highlight Cells rule and text that contains. If it's a text, you can select text. If it's a range, you can select the range. Like for example, if you want to select the performance score ranges, that if it is less than 2.5, so you can select that range. It will show up in red, and if it is above than 3, it will show up in green, and if it is between 2.5 or 3, it will show up in red. So you can do that in conditional formatting. Okay, now for this we have selected states. So let's see, we put Ohio, and we have selected that highlight it with light red filled dark red text. You can select any of this, or you can design on your own, which you see in custom format option. So okay, you see that all Ohio states are highlighted in red. Similarly, you go again, conditional formatting, highlight cells rule, and go to text that contains. You will select Florida, and the color code you will select is yellow. Okay, now you see that Florida is selected in that color which we have chosen. Go again to conditional formatting, highlight text that contains, and do it with the rest of 2 others with different colors. Green, for Texas we have selected green, and for the last, Michigan, for Michigan we can select light red fill. So if we click OK, we can see that Michigan is also in red, but the text is not in red, as you can see as of Ohio. So this way you can select color code totally depending on your choice. Now moving to the next option, text to column option. In text to column option, here I will do is adding 2 columns after names. The main purpose of text to column is to differentiate the first name and the second name. How you would do this is selecting the complete range of the names you have written of the service person, going to data, selecting text to column, select delimited. That means we need to make remain this range as it is, and separating the first and the second name. Clicking on next, you should select the space option, check it, click next, and remove the destination and select this cell. Then click on finish. A dialog box will appear. You want to replace it, click OK. This is how the 2 names are separated in 2 different columns. You can combine these 2 names using the same concatenate formula. With all of that, I came up with a point that what if we want to mark or write the status of those whose scores are not evaluated yet. So what we will do is insert a column and write one more function for if. So let's put a formula for if is equals to if, clicking on here, logical test, that if it's 0 or null, selecting it is equals to 0. If it is 0, then a value will be added. What value? Let's say evaluation pending, in inverted commas, as you are writing a string, comma, value if false, simply you will add 2 times inverted commas and parenthesis close. It clearly means that if the value is 0, then it should highlight the evaluation pending status, else not. Simply enter. Now selecting the cell and copying it down for all. What you have seen is evaluation pending appears in front of those whose score is 0 or null. Simply you can use this thing to highlight the status for those and let them know that they are not out of the list and their evaluation is pending. These are the basic functions, methods, or you can say formulas, which you can use and practice them to get a good command on Excel to use it on everyday life. For these kind of videos, please keep watching and keep practicing.